Welcome to Crafty Little Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a Dollar Tree DIY for you.
Check out this beautiful sign that I found at the Dollar Tree. It's almost perfect. Look how thick it is. I was really impressed with how thick this is because that's always my biggest gripe about Dollar Tree signs. Now, it looks like there's supposed to be like three boards, and it is cut out that way, but it's not like actually three slats of boards. So I thought we could make it look a little bit more like three slats of boards just by cutting it. Not all the way through, just a little bit. So I'm just using one of those squares from the Dollar Tree and a razor blade and just following the ruler, cutting a straight line between the boards. Then I thought I could sand it up, rough it up a little bit. Whenever I use like a paper covered sign like this, I do like to rough it up a little bit. I think it makes it look a little bit more hand painted. Now, I didn't think you could really see that seam very well, so I went back over it with like that Cricut weeder tool to kind of carve that out a little bit deeper. And I think that looks really cool. I like the fact that it looks like separate boards now. And this is the flower that we saved from the flower arrangement. I thought it would be so pretty to attach this sign because it's very similar to what's in the picture. I just need to drill a hole. I'm just using a screw just because I didn't have my drill handy. So I just need a hole, but I don't want like a very big hole. I just want it big enough for that stem of that flower to go in there. That way I can leave the stem on there and the flower won't fall apart, because I found with Dollar Tree signs, if you take that backing off, the whole flower falls apart. So just using my weeding tool to try to make that hole a little bit bigger. I just want it to be the perfect size so it'll grip against that, and just slide that flower in. Isn't that pretty? I love that. And it totally matches the colors. I am just going to use a dot of hot glue on the back just to make sure it stays put, even though I think it probably will. Now, the only thing I have left to do on this sign, because it's so cute to start with, is I wanted to replace the hanger. So I'm going to use some of these wood beads from the Dollar Tree. These have little rainbows on them. Mine has like rainbow colored ones, white ones, black ones, and the painted ones. And so I am just going to use one end. I'm going to cut that tassel off because I want to save that for sure. And then we'll just replace what's already here. Now they had it stapled on, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull that off with some pliers. And then I'm just going to staple my wood bead garland on there just by tying a knot and stapling that down. Now they had stapled it down, and so I thought, this is a thick sign, I can staple it down. Now my staples may have been a little bit bigger than theirs because I did have like one end of the staple kind of poke through a little bit, but we're going to work with it. I'm going to make it about the same size as our old hanger. And I'll definitely have to save that little rainbow on the end of that for St. Patrick's Day. Now, don't worry if you voted for something other than spring. I have tons of St. Patrick's Day, Easter, spring, even some coastal. I know there's people in there asking for coastal, and it's all coming. I spoil you with lots of videos. So I just tied a knot and stapled that one to the back as well. And I think this is so pretty for spring, and how easy was that? Basically just cutting the boards, attaching a flower, and replacing the hanger. And I love how those white wood beads tie into the wood beads that we added to the first two signs.
So definitely keep your eye out for some really pretty spring signs at Dollar Tree this year. They've really been stepping up their game with some of these signs. I love the fact that they're thicker